देख बिना ब्रेक।
Download Tak app.
Welcome to another brand new episode of India Today Inspiration. You might love him, you might hate him, but you really can't ignore him. In the 1980s, 19 test matches against the West Indies, that attack with 200s to his name. 1985 champion of champions, more recently as the head coach of the Indian cricket team. Rohit Sharma, opener. Jasprit Bumrah to play test match cricket. Kuldeep and Chahal, the pair to play white ball cricket. You've got to say, these are Ravi Shastri's decisions and the partnership with Virat Kohli, the handiwork, the camaraderie to take Indian cricket and its legacy forward. Yes, my viewers will see me today interacting with the one and only. You can troll him however much you like, but he will still talk like a tracer bullet. Ravi Shastri. Welcome Ravi, welcome on Inspiration. Thank you for talking to me. If I can straight away get into the thing, your cricket as a player was defined by one word, guts, courage. Again, the same philosophy I am seeing in the current Indian team, you as a coach. Can you talk to me about this journey, player to coach, and the way your team is currently doing?
It's very similar. When I played the game, I treated every opportunity as a challenge. Hence, my transition from number 10 to number 1 in the batting lineup. I didn't treat it as something where people will judge me after the event what I've done. It is in my mindset that what I thought that was important, which was a challenge. Treat it as a challenge and relish the challenge, embrace the challenge that's coming your way. And then see what happens. And what happens is what happened. Similarly, in this profession, when you took the job, it was a challenge. So nothing changes. The game teaches you the hard yards.
India was number 7 in the world test ranking.
It was, but there was belief. Just like I had belief in my ability as a player to go from 10 to 1, I had the belief this team can go from 7 to 1. And when I said it 2 years ago, people thought I was speaking French or Spanish.
You actually said this team has the potential of being the best team in the world.
Yeah, I wasn't speaking Spanish or French. I was speaking English.
And you also spoke about, where you got, people thought about Hardik when you said, compare him to Ben Stokes. You said this is the best travelling team. The Australia victory, one of the best of all time. There have been a lot of reaction to all of this. How do you look at that?
The way it's what you believe, you say. It's my belief. People have every right to question what I've said because they're doing a job. They've got every right to do it. But for God's sake, I have a right to say what I have to say as well. Okay, and don't stop me from that because you will never be able to stop me. If I believe in something, I will say it because I mean it.
Honestly, when you come to this team, now if you look at this Indian team, the Virat Kohli on the same show, for example, has said that if the team gets 250 runs on the board, the opponents are like, we'll lose this game. Because the aura of this team has become like that. Tell me how you fashioned this. Because earlier it was one Kapil Dev during your time, there was one Zahir Khan, there was one Javagal Srinath. Now you take Shami and Bumrah, you have Bhuvi and Umesh and Ishant, and it keeps going on and on. There's no respite.
No, I think it was a classic case of understanding how you bowl as a unit. And it started in Johannesburg. It started in Cape Town. When South Africa were batting the second time around, the game was in the balance, I would say 70-30 in South Africa's favor. And we could have done a better job in the first innings. But that's when we sat down and said, enough of individual brilliance, enough of being rated individually as a bowler. It's how you're going to bowl as a unit. Just as a batting lineup bats as a unit, a bowling lineup will bowl as a unit, where you complement each other and leave your personal glory way behind in the dressing room. Get out there and bowl as a unit for the team. Rest is history.
You know, we had come close in South Africa. If we actually go down and take a look, we had come close in the first test, also in the second test. Then third test, 124 for 1 South Africa, Hashim Amla batting, everybody thought it's 3-0. To come back and win that test match started a process that ended in Australia and is continuing now. Can you talk to me about that match and the transition?
It's belief, it's self-belief, and the guy who drives that belief is the captain. He believed at every given stage that India were going to win. So when the captain has that belief, it rubs off on the other players. When there is belief, there's action, there's serious action. You mentioned South Africa. Tell me one test match. I mean, over the last 3 years, we were blown away at Lords. Barring that test, you tell me one test match where India has not competed. Home or away, tell me one test match where India has not competed. Even though we lost 4-1, that series could have been 3-2 in England, in our favor. Which is what I like about this team. You know, and those are the lessons you learn on the way. Then going to Australia and learning from those lessons and driving home the advantage to win that series. Could have been 3-1 India had we had a full day's play in Sydney. Of course, of course, we had them on the ropes.
In Australia, it was one apiece. Come Melbourne Boxing Day, you take a call, and I've got to attribute it to you as head coach because that's what my understanding is. You drop your 2 regular openers and you play Mayank Agarwal and Hanuma Vihari, and look at what Mayank Agarwal is doing. Now, give me the thought process behind that call, because one needs, and we won that test match and the rest is history.
Thought process was very clear in my mind, and then I had to speak with Virat, and speak to the other people in the management, was I didn't want baggage. I didn't want people going into that important test match with scars, so that I give the opposition the edge. Hence, Agarwal and Vihari. Because 2 youngsters, I mean,
and both have done.
Opposition didn't know much about them. They didn't know much about that level they're playing at. They cared 2 hoots about Boxing Day, as opposed to a guy who's played there before, who will carry that pressure. They went out and played.
Did you not feel pressure? Had it backfired?
Of course you feel pressure. Christ's sake, I'm the coach of an Indian cricket team. You feel pressure. This is not a mic in my hand.
Yeah, because it could have backfired.
Mic again, Tom, oh, here he comes, you know, it could take off. This is pressure, because you're answerable. It's a responsible position, and you're responsible. If it hadn't worked, you'd have been shot. So be it. You're out there doing a job, not to run away from a fight or a gun. This Indian team hates losing. Why? Because they know they can win. They know they can win anywhere, and no one hates losing more
than Virat Kohli
and the coach.
If I take the World Cup, you know, outstanding leading into the semi-finals. When you now look back, yes, we have all said, whether it's a Tendulkar on India today, whether it's us as analysts, 30 minutes of misfortune, whatever you want to call it, 15 minutes. When you look back, do you think that the MS Dhoni decision, which was debated all over, could have been rethought? Dhoni at 7, should he have batted up? When you look back at that game, would Ravi Shastri have done things differently?
Absolutely not.
And why not?
Absolutely not, because at 5 for 3, had Dhoni gone, game was over. But Dhoni in the 48th over, with his computer out, oh, you were very much in the game, but for that run out. And what is Dhoni's strength? What is he known for? The best finisher?
True.
In the game?
Yeah.
So where should he be batting? At the finish? Or at the top? Jadeja made things happen. It was a brilliant inning. We were nowhere. He made the game. And then there was the perfect orchestrator there. MS, to finish it off. And I'll tell you what, his computer was out. He knew who was going to bowl 1 over, or 6 balls were calculated. It was in his computer, but for that run out. But that's the game.
So you believe, I mean, because see, counter
See,
history
because
has-
it's a massive hit to the team. It's like when Sachin played. When the opposition got Sachin out, it was like as if they'd got 3-4 wickets, not one. So in a one-day game, when you get MS early, especially after you've got Virat and Rohit, it's over. I mean, it's a knockout. The hand goes up. Winner, unanimous, third round knockout. New Zealand. Simple. So we needed to be in the game, and we needed to take the game deep, and then no one better.
You know, I know counter history has no place in sport, but having said that, when you sit back, objectively analyze that freakish Martin Guptill throw, had it not happened, you actually believe MS could have pulled us over the line?
100%. We lost by 16. I mean, he got out with 10 balls to spare.
And 22 odd runs to get, 23 odd runs to get.
10 balls to spare, MS Dhoni, 20 needed. You're talking about the best finisher in the game. There's an over that is up his sleeve, which he's calculated. And what is 20 in 10? 2 hits over the rope. It's 8.
And he
It's
had
8
already
in
hit a
8.
6 in that over.
Yeah. So but you know, it's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, we guys have learned a lot from that, and I respect this team. You know, it was a real tough pill to swallow. You know, I don't think anyone spoke to each other for a day or so.
How did you take that? How did you
It
and
was
the team
it
take
was hard, but you play sport. Men play this game. Proper men, you know. So it's a tough pill to swallow. You bite the bullet, learn from that experience, and move on. That's why I respect this team.
If I actually take it from there and the World Test Championship, do you think that the World Test Championship and the intensity that we are seeing, firstly, do you think it has the potential of becoming the most important ICC event because you are actually excelling at it over 2 years, 2.5 years, rather than 1 month, and you have to be at your peak to win it over a period? Secondly, it's the Test cricket, right? So you're playing in England, you're playing in Australia, you're playing in New Zealand, rather than one venue or one country. So is this the championship that will define the Virat Ravi combine's legacy for Indian cricket?
You mentioned potential. No question of potential. It is the biggest. It's the purest form of the game. There's a World Cup at stake there. And you go and ask anyone who's played the game. Job satisfaction maximum is when you perform in a 5-day game in Test match cricket. You know, some have not succeeded at Test match cricket. That doesn't mean they're not outstanding players, because they might have been great one-day players, great white ball players. But at the end of the day, why is Tendulkar Tendulkar? Why is Sobers? Why is Shane Warne? Why is XYZ rated? Why is Bradman? Because of what they did with the red ball.
Yeah.
And you can't take that away.
From my understanding, the Rohit Sharma opening was your decision. You actually had a chat with Rohit in 2016 first, and then during the World Cup. Even from what I understand, that you said if Rohit was not opening the batting and making big runs in Test cricket, you would consider your tenure as coach incomplete. Can you tell me what prompted you to do that? That is a big call, and look at how Rohit is performing now.
No, because I always believed that he was not meant to play the waiting game. You know, having watched him, having seen him right from his very first Test match, first series, to today in the dressing room, it always crossed my mind. And what you say is right. If he hadn't succeeded as a Test match player, I would have thought my job is incomplete. I wouldn't have rated myself as a coach. But what I understood watching and seeing was, this guy shouldn't be waiting to bat.
So you send him up the order.
Just like why is he successful in the one-day game? It's because he goes and takes charge. The bowler is not set, he's not set. So it's on a level peg, batsman and bowler. So they start afresh. Similarly, in Test match cricket. So if he gets away, and he's got the ammunition to kill attacks. So he's smelt the coffee now. So it's up to him to drive home the advantage.
But give us the story. When it came to you, what
No,
happened?
it was, I think 2015 or 16. I told him, you should be opening for Bombay. You should be opening on a regular basis when you're not playing for India in Test match cricket. You should be opening the batting just to get used to, or just get the feel of what it is like taking strike. And it's all in the mind. You can nick the first ball and be sitting and watching others score hundreds. That's part and parcel of the job as an opening batsman. But if you get in, make it frickin' count. Pick time. Like Rohit has done, Mayank is doing, and like all openers in the past have done. You don't get Sunny for 20, and
150.
No, 150?
200, whatever.
Cows come home, man. You don't get big players out, like once they get in. And as an opener,
what was his reaction?
and as an opener, it's the toughest challenge. If you see the first half an hour of a test match, or 45 minutes, can the game become more difficult for you? No. You have seen the toughest period of the game. So now kill it.
The other call that one has to attribute to you, and today is paying huge dividends for India, is Jasprit Bumrah. The whole world said Jasprit Bumrah is a white ball bowler, and to fast track Jasprit Bumrah into Test match cricket, you and Bharat Arun, tell me the mindset. And today Jasprit Bumrah is the most feared fast bowler in the world.
First of all, he's different. His action is different. It's something that can't be coached. Bigger job for the coach is not to change that action and make him excel at what he's doing. Make him believe that what he's doing is right. And I had it in my mind that this guy could be dangerous in Test match cricket because it's an unusual action. He'll bring in a lot of variety to the attack. And when you have other fast bowlers like Shami and Ishant and Umesh, Bhuvi around, there's variety. And this guy brings more variety than anybody else because it's absolutely, he has no run up. He walks to the crease, 2 steps, and then a ball comes out at 140 plus K. It's going to trouble any batsman. So that difference, in his action was what prompted me to think, try this guy out. And he was going to play the first test. In fact, we told him in November, you will play the first test in South Africa. So if the media thought that because someone got injured, he played, no. He was playing that first test in Cape Town. And that was in my mind 2 months ago.
Ravi, some calls which have again prompted a lot of writing, analysis, criticism, debate. The call in South Africa to leave Ajinkya Rahane out in the first 2 games, Cheteshwar Pujara out in England. When you reflect back, do you sort of see things different?
No, they made them better players. Very simple. I mean, Ajinkya was a real tough one because it was Rohit, Ajinkya's. If you played one, then people will say, why didn't you play the other? If you played the other, people will say, why you played this one? So we take that in our stride. It's fine. With Puji, I felt, I'll take the bullet. I felt that he had to work a little bit on certain things as far as his technique and posture. And within 5 days, I remember telling him, you'll go through a period in your next 6-7 innings where you'll get 300-400s. Don't come and ask me ever again, how am I batting? And he took me, and then I told him after he got his big one in Sydney, I said, don't take me that seriously. I said, 3-4, you actually got 3-4 and more. But those are the calls you got to take. You can't please everybody. I don't do a job here to please everybody. You're bound to upset some people. You're bound to be open to debate on certain decisions you take as a team. But that's the belief of the team management.
You've always spoken straight. And again, 2 things I need to ask you. One, you and Saurav, and I've asked this question of Saurav. When Saurav became BCCI president, there was so much talk, you and Saurav don't get along. There is no love lost, etc. Is this media talk? was there some basis to it? What do you have to say about Saurav as BCCI president?
Outstanding. I mean, first of all, I'm thrilled that there's a BCCI in place. We played 3 years without a BCCI. Yeah, which allowed the ICC to take off to another level. I'm glad there's the BCCI in place now to get Indian cricket back to where it was and where it belongs. And a cricketer at the helm like Saurav, outstanding, because he's got the experience. As far as the Ravi Shastri game that goes, that's brilliant chaat and belpuri for the media. You know, with mirchi, masala, sab dal ke aur kya. I mean, what he's done as a cricketer, I have utmost respect.
You were his captain.
That was earlier. But he took over Indian cricket at the most troubled times. Post the fixing era, right? When Indian cricket was in the doldrums and shambles. You needed the faith of the people to come back to support the game. And he was a captain in that era. And you think, if I don't respect that, I'm a fool. And if people think I don't respect that, to hell with them. I am passionate about this game. I'm passionate about Indian cricket. That's why I'm doing the job I'm doing today. So at that time, it was very important that you needed someone to get Indian cricket back on track. Saurav did it. Sachin did it. Dravid did it. You know, the team of players that were there at that time were outstanding, character-wise, which allowed people to get back faith and support the game. The sponsors all coming back to support the game. So you got to give credit where it's due.
One question before I go to the break. Anything you say, and it has become the new fashion to troll you, whether it is memes, whether it is this, whether it is putting an alcohol glass in your hand, and 100 things happen in social media. Do they bother you? Do they affect you?
Bhoria, what is this social media? This troll, poll, stroll. I post for my fans what I believe. उसके बाद जो होता है, give two hoots यार. वो बाकी जन को पढ़ने दो, let them read, to hell with that. I post, my fans see it. Thank you very much. उसके बाद भाड़ में गए जो. बोलने वाले बोलेंगे यार. We are a country of 1.2 billion. You know, people have some. जिसको काम धंधा नहीं है, तो they have to talk, no.
So this negativity, what doesn't bother you?
Zero farak. What negativity? I don't know what is negativity.
What's happening with MS Dhoni? Really need to ask Ravi and understand his mindset. Firstly, are we entitled as fans or analysts to question his retirement? I don't think we are, because that's a personal call. I think we are entitled to knowing, will MS sort of continue to play or what he is, because that's our nature as Indian cricket fans. As the head coach of the Indian team, do you see a future of MS Dhoni in the Indian team? How do you see this whole thing unfold?
I mean, that guy is a legend. I mean, you can put him in the thing of a Tendulkar, Kapil Dev, Gavaskar, Dhoni. And I can't think of that.
And Virat.
And Virat. No, Virat is a living thing. You know, I'm just saying, this guy has played that long. He is the ultimate competitor. The last thing he will want is to impose himself on an Indian team, having known him. He's a selfless human being. I mean, how many people would have retired after 94 test matches? Just come and say, I'm going.
Yeah, he could have easily played 100.
And got the biggest farewell for his 100 test match. Could have been in Ranchi, it could have been anywhere. It would have been a full house, let me assure you, for his 100 test match, wherever he played. Just went. He says, the gloves belong to Ridhiman Shah, take it. Off I go. He's a big event player. And the World Cup was a big event. You know, he gave it his all. We didn't win that. We lost to the semi-final. So he might be wanting to take a break. But he is going to play the IPL. So I saw a photograph the other day. He's pulling out a bat. He started training. So the way I look at it is, he will start training. He will start, because you can't leave the game. If you want to play the game, you can't leave it for that long. You know, because it'll catch up. So, you need to get that feel of bat, hitting ball, with the gloves, the work he has to do. And I think he'll play the IPL. and take it from there. If he has an outstanding IPL,
So you are not ruling anything out.
I don't rule anything out with that kind of experience, with that kind of knowledge of the sport. He would know the amount of sport he's played. If he puts himself in contention, he feels after the IPL, I'm good enough to play for India. Don't mess around with that.
See, for fans, it's very easy to say these guys are superhuman. Oh, what's happening with MS Dhoni? Why does he need to take a break, etc.? See, with 1 billion people expecting superhuman things day in, day out, it can also be mental. So this break that he has taken, we are seeing in Australia what's going on. Do you think it's his way of recuperating with that loss?
To be honest, it's sensible. And I like the time when he's starting to play again. See, because I don't think he's too keen on the one-day stuff anymore. He's finished with Test cricket. T20 is an option. I mean, it's a format that's tailor-made for him. But will his body be able to cope with the demands? Only he will say. If he decides to play, which he will, because he will play the IPL, then he'll start training with a very fresh mind and very clear ideas. And then you're going to see form. But like I said, if he has a great IPL and puts himself in contention, that I'm available for selection, then you don't fool around.
We moved on to Rishabh Pant, gave him opportunities, and you've spoken about this. Are you a tad disappointed with Rishabh Pant? I mean,
not at all.
Or how do you deal with that?
See, the guy is 20, 21, 22.
He's got hundreds in England and Australia, for heaven's sake.
He came in Test match cricket. He's got 2 or 3 hundreds already, overseas. It's a learning curve as far as Rishabh goes.
But are we putting too much pressure on him?
No, because see, he's an outstanding talent. He's destructive with the way he bats. He's a match winner on a given day. But there are times when you come in to the game like the way he's come and done what he has, you suddenly become known quantity from unknown. That's when the pressure starts building on you as a young player. Living up to expectations.
So as a coach, how do you tackle that? Because he'll look up to you.
Yeah, of course. You have to tell him, calm. You've got to cash in. You've got to do your work. Your work ethics have to be solid. You've got to have a manner in which you approach your batting. You can't think everything is, going to happen the way I want it to happen from ball one. No, this game teaches you. There's a method to madness as well. So he has to learn that method. And it doesn't come that easily. Well, what he is capable of is what he is going to do now. As far as work ethics go, the way he looks to manage his innings, the way he thinks about shot selection, over the next 2-3 years, that will set him up. And like you said, there's time. He doesn't have to do it all the time on the cricket field. I mean, when he's playing for India, sometimes domestic cricket is good to play domestic cricket because the pressure is not that much when you play there. Yeah. So you can try your different things, play. That's why I believe in people going back and playing domestic cricket and rediscovering themselves. So, and the thing is, he's got age. He's got age in his side. India is lucky; they've still got multitaskers. You've got Rahul who can keep. You've got Sanju Samson who can keep. There's Rishabh there. There's MS in the background. So there's Saha in the Test match. So there is talent there. So if he disappears for 6 months or 3 months just to work on his game, people should not think that he's been treated. Absolutely not.
Let me push you a little bit more on this. I mean, from what I see him now, I sense that maybe in the mind there is lack of clarity because he's under pressure. I also feel that if we are sort of supporters of Indian cricket from the media and analysts or whatever, it's time we leave that man alone because we are constantly talking Rishabh and he's a 21-year-old at the end of the day.
And he doesn't need to be spoken that much about. That is the bottom line. Give him let him be what he is.
Exactly.
Does he need to be spoken about as much as he's being spoken about? No. He's young. Give him time. 5 years from now, if he starts setting the world on fire, then you start talking about it. I will bring Saurav Ganguly now. Saurav was with me in 1991, 92.
Correct.
Right? He had enormous talent even then. Enormous talent. Because I remember him, when I was captaining Tatas, I ensured that he joins Tatas to play a couple of seasons in Bombay and get tougher mentally. But he didn't play for 5 years after 91, 92. But look where he came back. And look how he came back. 5 years, na? So same exactly where you're talking of Rishabh Pant. I'm not saying he's going anywhere. He'll be around. But a guy could go away for 5 years after playing.
And come back and play 113 test matches.
So it is not a case of are we putting too much pressure? Is that pressure, is that conversation needed about an individual? First of all, you have to ask that.
The other thing I want to ask is, KL Rahul kept wicket in the Vijay Hazare tournament.
Correct.
Did very well. T20 World Cup coming up. He's kept wickets in the IPL. He's a solid batting option. Are you going to consider that as a package? Does he have an opportunity still, KL Rahul, given his IPL form, T20 form?
It is an absolute option because you got to see where your strength is. If tomorrow there are a couple of guys in the middle order who are firing at the back, who are playing unbelievable innings, like in the IPL. IPL will be a good judging ground, where you feel a guy who is a multitasker can be used at the top because you've got some firepower at the back who are doing extremely well to be used at the back. Why not? You need people who can do two things at a time. Gone are the days where you play only as a batsman. Then you have to be Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma. But even they are excellent in the field. So you've got to have two departments, boss. You've got to have two departments, if not more, to be able to play white ball cricket.
Ravi, now two of the questions that I really need to ask. One, that number 4 position. Do you think that number 4 position cost us the World Cup? Maybe the selection committee meeting, maybe things could have been different. But when you look back, do you think India not having a stable number 4 and moving forward, India needs to have a stable number 4 for the World T20 and World Cup of 2021?
Absolutely. There was no stability there. We lack stability. That's why it crossed my mind many times to ask Virat to bat at 4. Just to split, we were top heavy, just to split that top heaviness by putting someone else at 3 and making Virat bat at 4 did cross my mind. Many times, because I knew in the big game that could be the most important position. So, but we've learned now from that. We've got Shreyas who's batting beautifully at that number.
You think he's the future possibility?
Yes. The way he's batting now, if he doesn't own that position, I'll be very, very surprised.
And he's again excelled as a captain, as a leader, so he's got that confidence.
He's 24, 25 years, he's played so much of first class cricket. He's got so many runs, playing for everything. Mumbai, India, A, you name it. He's gone through the grind, and I think he's realized what he can do at that number 4.
You think that sort of now that you have Shreyas playing the way he is, you've got your solution for the World T20 and looking forward?
The way he's batting now, fabulous.
The T20 format is the only format. We are number 1 in Test cricket. We are almost number 1 in ODI cricket. T20 is the only format we are still not number 1. Yeah. Do you see an issue at the top in the way we approach T20 cricket? What is your vision? Are we
My
slow?
vision is we haven't played enough as a team. We haven't played enough T20 cricket as opposed to the other formats of the game. Plus, the importance given to T20 when you have 3 formats was the least, because there was no World Cup in question after 2016. Now there are 2 World Cups, so T20 gets maximum importance with Test cricket. One day cricket will take the backseat. That's where you can experiment, try, not important. Because we've got to be able to experiment. It's not about winning every game. Yes, the back of your mind, you want to win every game. But in experimenting, in trying to experiment, if you lose the odd game or 2 or 3, I don't mind. Because you're planning something. You're looking for something. So at the moment, like what you're saying, T20, yes, because we haven't played enough. Hence, that consistency is not what it is with one-day cricket and test match cricket. But I think the more we play, like we're going to play now over the next 12 months, I think you'll see the side in the top 2.
So confident of that?
Oh yeah, if not 1.
So to take a cue from that, do you think your legacy as a coach, as the head coach of this Indian cricket team, I mean, you've come close in England, that 15 minutes. You are leading the World Test Championship race. Do you think one ICC tournament win, how important is it an obsession for you? One ICC tournament win before Ravi Shastri gives up as head coach of the Indian team?
Huge. I'm a winner, man. I've been part of a World Cup team that won in '83. I've been part of a World Championship team that has won in '85. I'm a coach of an Indian team that's #1 test team in the world for the last 3 years, 4 years. I like to win. So yes, what you say that one event, I'll chase that with my team.
But is it, and I come here having I'll invoke Rahul Dravid in a discussion saying that in the 1980s West Indies was the best team. They did not win a World Cup. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
And 1980s the Brazilian team, for example, the football team, they did not win a World Cup. Zico, Socrates, that Falcao, that team. Is it the only thing? Is ICC tournament win going to define your... I mean, had we won in England, maybe we would have said this team is the best ever, right? And it can compete with the Australian team of Ponting and Waugh and the West Indian team of Lloyd. But at the same time, look at the way India has been consistent in Test cricket. So what I want to understand is, how do you come to terms with that? How important with that? And at this is a win, and at the same time, is it an obsession?
It's an obsession for me. I'm going to chase it with my team. This team will go down in the history of Indian cricket, in world cricket, as one of the best teams of the century. Okay?
And
I'm telling you now.
Can that happen without an... So you have to win?
No, we're already there. But we're going to chase that. And that will be the cherry on top of the cake. But we're chasing it. My team, me, my management, we're chasing it. So if you say it's an obsession, it's a bloody obsession. They're right.
And overseas, you've broken the jinx with Australia. You've come close in South Africa and England. Now you have Australia again a year from now. Do you think your team can now win overseas consistently? Because if you do that, this Indian team would have completely turned the cycle.
I mean, tell me which Indian team has won so much overseas across all formats here. Jaake record dhundo, padho. Forget the future. Like, future is a mystery. What this team has already done across all formats overseas over the last 5 years, just go and see it, and then try and find out how many teams have done it.
Okay, you as a player, you've played for 20 years, close to 15 years, 1981 to 1993-4. You've watched cricket and commentated for another 30 years. Now you're coach of this team. If I actually ask you to analyze between 1982, now you've been part of international cricket, is this the best ever Indian team in terms of the ability, I mean the fast bowling crop, the variety in the bowling with spin and pace and batting, is this the best crop?
No question. No argument.
And you, even when you're saying Tendulkar, Dravid, Lakshman, that side?
20 wickets, man. Which side could take 20 wickets?
And consistently so. What has changed? How? Because these bowlers were there.
Ability to take wickets across all formats of the game.
But Umesh was there, Ishant was there, Shami was there. What has changed in Umesh, Ishant and Shami that they've now started to pick 20 wickets every
They bowl as a team. They bowl as a unit. They've kept their international driving license in their pocket. You know. And they make it harder for the opposition to score runs. And they take 20. So, if you ask me, is this the best team I've seen since '82? No question.
You've achieved a lot from Champions Trophy, that 1985
I'm not
Champion
done
of
yet,
Champions.
by the way.
I was about to say that. So what's the Ravi Shastri legacy and the dream that lives on?
No, to strive for consistency. To be able to go out there day in, day out and repeat things in a manner in which you want people to watch this team play. And no one, brings it more to the fore than your captain.
That was my last question.
That energy that he brings in, and when you have individual brilliance, with it, when you look at the likes you mentioned, Bumrah, Shami, Ishan, Rohit, Ajinkya when he's playing, Pujara. When you have such Jadeja, that Ashwin, these are mature players now. And if I missed out any names, guys, apologies. My players only will hit me. Mera naam kyun nahi liya? So I'll take pura 15. When you have a unit like that, and when you have a driver at the helm, with that kind of passion, it's...
My last one. I mean, when you and I had last spoken, you said as captain he was still work in progress.
Yeah.
And that was about a year and a half back.
Yeah.
As captain, I mean, as batsman, he's peerless.
Yeah.
He's Test cricket, one-day cricket, T20 cricket. Virat Kohli as a finished product. 3 parts to the question. One is ambassador to the game. After Steven Smith and what happened to Steven Smith, he will take time to come back and get that position back. Virat Kohli as ambassador, Virat Kohli as captain, Virat Kohli as batsman.
There's no cricketer in the world close to him when you put the 3 together. Because he's the ultimate statesman at the moment, a great ambassador for the sport. When you go and ask kids around the world, who do you like to watch? Majority will say Virat Kohli. And they've got every right to. If I was a kid, I would be wanting to watch him, the way he plays. He plays within the rules, he plays it hard and tough, where he's in your face, he's expressive, he's passionate, and he's the quintessential professional when it comes to work ethics. So he's a role model for every young kid, not to mention the players who play with him. And he will carry on. He'll only get better and better. Because it's a disease. He's setting the benchmark. And he wants to raise the benchmark. He's not chasing nobody. He's chasing himself. So when that happens, it happened with Tendulkar. I remember telling him when Sachin used to play, I said, you're the only guy who's got more hundreds than your age. It's not easy. I mean, the guy's got maybe 40 hundreds, he's 30 years of age. Ye kaisa ho sakta hai? So same with Virat now, he's only chasing himself. He doesn't have anyone to emulate, he doesn't have anyone to, I want to be like him. Be Virat Kohli, that's it. That's all we'll tell him. And I think we should enjoy this period of the game with him at the helm.
It's all about team, it's about we, it's about us, it's about the collective, it's about the Indian cricket team. Yes, it is an obsession, he says, to chase that ICC trophy. And if you're obsessed about something, that's what defines high-performance elite sportsmen and their collective legacy. Wish Ravi Shastri all the very best. May you chase your dreams and dreams do come true. Thank you very much.
And all I'll say, Boria, is I must thank the number of people that have started following this Indian cricket team. Around the world, when I travel, it's not that they talk about individuals,
Even
they talk
in
about
London.
an Indian cricket.
Even in London, when after that New Zealand game, I saw people coming up and saying, oh, you all did great. Yes, it did not happen, but the respect is different.
Yeah, for an Indian cricket team. Individuals will always be there, but an Indian cricket team. And that, for me, it's a great feeling as a coach.
Absolutely. I mean, it's that Indian cricket team that defines the legacy. And this legacy will live on. This legacy will redefine and transform Indian cricket for all time, for all times to come. More power to you, more strength to you and your team. Thanks for watching. True inspiration, because however much you troll, 19 test matches against the West Indies in the 1980s with 200s against that bowling attack, an overseas average of 47 in the 15 test matches that he has played. As Virat Kohli says, go and get that and then troll. If you don't, shut up. Thanks for watching.